regions of the country are calling for restructuring of the Nigeria's economy, where we practice true federalism, where the power will be at the regions, and then they make contributions to the federal government. And I've been joined in the studio this time around by Honorable Barrister Ibrahim Bello Rigachikun. He is the former member of the Federal House of Representatives, representing Igabi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. He's also a practicing lawyer in Abuja here. Honorable, you are welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, you've heard so much as a lawmaker, as a former lawmaker. Yes. You've heard so much from so many groups, civil society organizations, regions in the country, and some prominent Nigerians calling for restructuring of Nigeria's economy. Now, can you give us a perspective of what restructuring is and what it should be?
Thank you very much, viewers. Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here, once again to discuss very important, what it has to do with this our great nation. Yes. You see, when I talk about restructuring, I keep asking myself, those people agitating for restructure of this economy or the governance, and what have you. I can remember very, very well during the 7th Assembly, among those that goes against what the former president did when he was when they were able to summon or pick or select so many prominent Nigerians, ex-politicians and what have you, from the 36 states, including Abuja, to come to nations for what is called
the National Conference.
National Conference. It's uncalled for. It's a waste of funds. We, at that 7th Assembly, honestly, we'll go against it. Is that particular subject matter structure, if you look at it very well.
Yes.
Well, we have 3 arms of government, which is constitutional. And at the last session, during Mr. President Jonathan Goodluck, we have the legislators seated, who are paid, who are doing our legislative processes. So then we have been neglected, abandoned. Because I look at it, the work of those who has been selected from various states to come and do that kind of referendum is our constitutional responsibility. Because each and every Nigerian you cited anywhere, whether a goat or a sheep, or even a donkey, as far as a Nigerian must come up from a Nigerian ward, local government or state.
Yes, and somebody is representing that Nigerian somewhere.
Yes, basically, constitutionally. Somebody is representing that particular goat in the National Assembly, in the State Assembly, even though God has a governor. Fine. So, every Nigerian, if he's agitating, or there's something which the field is of national interest, it should come legislatively through their own representatives. As I've said, so any person agitating, he must come from 6 political zone. So they can do it in the way that they'll look for the members' House of Reps or a member of the Senate to come up with that particular idea. Then that idea will be debated at the plenary. The 109 senators we have in this country represent 109 senators of this country. The 360 members of the House of Representatives represent 360 federal constituencies of this great nation, including Abuja. So the law is so dynamic to the extent that you don't need to go elsewhere creating insinuations, creating vacuums, creating situations that at the end of the day, the law doesn't have a face of it. If you come legislatively, in my own perspective, if you come through the legislators, fine, it will be brought before the plenary, the session, and it will be debated. So, and as far as these 360 members of the House of Reps, 109 senators, as far as they debated and a subject matter of national interest, yes, fine, whatever they endorse, it must be taken up. We have 3 arms of government. The legislators, as said, is even stronger than the executive, also than the judiciary, even though the judiciary are independent. So, but if our lawmakers were able to bless a particular idea, a particular notion, a particular interest or agitation by the Nigerians of a subject matter that they feel must be, this country economy must be restructured, but let it be legislatively. So it should have a blessing day. So by the time our lawmakers were able to sit down, each member of the House of Reps or member of Nigerian Senate give his own contribution as representing his own constituents, fine. Everybody will be all right. But when you people start using social media, newspapers, what have you, about economy, restructuring, okay, you have, none of these people are talking about the NGOs, whatever, they have forgotten even Nigerian National Assembly. They don't talk about Nigerian National Assembly. And what they're talking about, you elected these people. Nobody ran from any state of this country and ran to Abuja to enter the National Assembly as a member of House of Reps or a Nigerian senator. So, since they have been elected legitimately, then give them their own business, give them their own kind of work. Tell them this, look, go to Abuja. We want this economy to be restructured. This is the way we want it. Fine. Then that particular member or that particular senator, even if he's not a lawyer, he engage in service of legal practitioners who can put these things within legal framework. So by the time it's done well, it will be debated. And if it is debated in any of the two chambers, that's it. We're talking about Nigeria debating the issue. Because the 109 members have said to the Senate and 360, they all represent over 215 million Nigerians.
Okay. Honorable, that was, that I suppose was an oversight that the National Conference has heard. The question here is that, do you, as a stakeholder, having looked around, believe that this country, the economy of this country, needs to be restructured?
You see, that's the beauty of Nigerian Constitution. You see, every Nigerian has the right, any of the government policies or his own personal observation.
That's true.
Or ideology upon government policy or what it deems fit for the integration of this country. So you have freedom of expression. If I'm an elite, maybe you go extra mile trying to sponsor a bill through a member of the Senate or a member of the House of Reps or what have you, or go through social media to give you a kind of contribution. Fine. In my own perspective, you see, there's what called integration. Even the United States of America that were emulated their own kind of democracy, we are talking about 200 years ago. And how about our own kind of democracy in this Nigeria here? We're talking about 16, 17 years old. So, you see, we need to integrate. We need to put things forward. I don't believe in obsolete processes, laws, and what have you. We must integrate so that we can be able to have a better and brighter future. So, it's not a crime, in my own kind of perspective, that we should restructure things for better. But the way I look at it,
it should be channeled to the appropriate.
That's my own point. It should be channeled to the appropriate quarters. That is the National Assembly. Because any person, whether you're a professor, whether you're a whatever you can put with, you have somebody representing you.
That's true.
So if it's channeled at the proper quarters, yes, it will be deliberated. Look at it, so beautiful. If this issue of restructuring comes to the National Assembly through I don't know whether it can come through the executive bill, but through private bill and what have you.
Because the National Assembly yesterday started calling for the recommendations, some of the recommendations that were made in the 2014 conference. So do you think it's coming back to the appropriate quarters where it should have started before? Because I know we put the cart before the horse, but now we're trying to put the horse before the cart. So do you think it's coming to the appropriate quarters now?
Yes, you're talking sense. That's my own optimistic view. If our former president was able to channel that compass they're talking about, would have was this kind of millions at that particular time? Because the sitting is unconstitutional, is void. Because we have legislators who are paid, who are in the 7th session. That's our own responsibility. It's just that the executive that is supposed to use national orientation agencies and what have you, to mobilize people now to our constituencies so that this kind of thing can be placed before the National Assembly. You understand as what they're trying to do now. So by the time it's placed there, I believe we must have gone forward. We have gone much forward at this moment. So, but in as much as we dwell from the reality, we're talking about, we start beating about the bush. Anybody that's talking about restructuring, how can you do the restructuring? You have existing National Assembly, and you, the person agitated for that restructuring, you must have elected member of the House of Reps from your own constituency. You have a senator representing a central district. What are you talking about? You try to avoid them after voting for them? And the incumbents, which you are deceiving yourself. So I'm using this media to call the attention of those who are agitating for this restructuring economy. It's fine, but use proper channel.
Okay, so if we have restructuring, because most people are scared about restructuring, especially the federal government, because the power will leave the central, and then it will go back to the region where the economies will work there and then take care of themselves and make contributions to the federal government. Do you think there is need, if at all there will be restructuring, do you think there is need for any of the stakeholders to be scared?
Why should they be scared? Nigerian laws are man-made law. It's not a divine law. It's not a word of Holy Quran or word of the Holy Bible. So, as much as Nigerian law is a man-made law, it's subject to amendment. Fine. I'm so optimistic about what I'm talking about. These people, to me, they're just diverting the attention of this country with restructuring. Okay, they don't want restructuring. Why don't you take it to the National Assembly? You understand? Or call the draftsmen, the experts, call lawyers that can be able to sit down with you. This is what you want. How can it be presented in the National Assembly so they can have a blessed day? Fine. But now, you can have a lot of very good perspective, very good ideology, reasonable thinking. You understand that, but it will never hold water in as much as it does not pass through the place of the National Assembly. Because we're talking about constitution, and we're talking about the arms of government. The populace, from which arm of government it comes from? Are you thinking it comes from the legislators? No. Because the electorates. But it is the electorate that make the executives also the legislators. Because the judiciary, they are not political office holders. They're independent. So, in as much as there's avenue of putting things right, or have a clear where it's time for us to go into this structure. If you're central government, fine, but look for a legal framework so that it can stand. So that in the next decade, you understand that another people will come up and now integrate and amend the laws to what is suitable with our kind of nature, how we find ourselves. But at this juncture, whereby we Nigerians will know ourselves very well. Nigerians are very funny people. A Nigerian now can sit down, call this restructure, use it as a political tool. Of course. I'm a politician. You understand? I can sit down in my bedroom, spend 2 hours to cook an ideology, an idea where I can get out with it. So we are very smart. Nigerians are very smart people, So, but all the Nigerians, whoever is agitated for restructuring, please look for legal framework.
We'll be speaking with Honorable Barrister Ibrahim Bello Rigachikun. He's a former member of the House of Representatives representing the Gavi Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, and we've been discussing restructuring of Nigeria economy, and his view is that it must pass through the right channel, which is the National Assembly, which is saddled with the responsibility to enact laws that will govern this country. Honorable, do you feel that the fortunes of Nigerians economic-wise will appreciate if they restructure, because we are concentrating more on oil revenue, and even the agriculture we started with before has been shifted to the background, and there are several other mineral resources in the state which state will be forced to begin to explore them. Do you feel that we are going to fare better as a country if there was restructuring economic wise?
Fine. You see the APC government, so beautiful. One of the agendas they have for us from 2015 to 2019 is diversification of economy from all agriculture. I'm putting it to you and our audience. Have they ever had any Nigerian complaining of this diversification? The answer is no. I stand to be corrected. Simply because all the 36 states, including Abuja, they appreciate and they bless the farming, and they are part of it. So this is it. So if every country can put down to the farm, because of the 6 political regions we have, there's most of this region, there's something they're producing, agric-wise. So now, what is so difficult in that? That is one. And secondly, you see, we have obsolete laws, which you have to make use the mechanism of the existence of National Assembly to amend them. You understand, so that things can be suitable. So as you already said, you see, creating another different thing, ideas that from the obsolete ones we had before in putting this country forward is a very good idea. You understand? Because we have to amend some kind of laws that will make things suitable. Like the PIB. It has been there for how many years? But now when this kind of amendment becomes now a law that's kind of placed in the National Assembly, yes, things will be better. Then somebody sit down with a professor of knowledge about ideas, start blowing grammar to us. That will not help this country. Bring ideas, pass through the proper channel. You understand that? It will sell. We have 109 senators waiting for this kind of beautiful ideas from Nigerians. We have 260 members of the House of Reps waiting for reasonable kind of ideas that can be able to put before the National Assembly so they can will give his own contribution. Every member is in the House of Reps, as I've said before, he came from a constituency. Yes. So the moment he contributes, it is that particular person that are contributed to that kind of subject matter placed before the House. So in as much as a resolution, that resolution is for immigration. So, but in as much as people will sit down using all this kind of evidence of social media, making noise, speaking grammar, they know what of their own PhD thesis is. It will not help matters. Because Nigeria is beyond that. We want people to come up and give us ideas. Here at the National Assembly, stop insulting the members of the House of Reps, beating them, threatening them, maiming them. Why we have elected them? It's not helping the matter. If you don't want somebody, use section 16 of the Constitution, record that person back. Put somebody who's going to represent it properly. Let's integrate our laws. How? By making the people of the National Assembly, let the atmosphere be accommodating for them to have a reasonable thinking and bring proper laws for us. Because this is one of the in the Nigerian Constitution to the members of the National Assembly. So if they have the atmosphere, in my own belief, you understand that, and the populace, the elites, are cooperating with them, guiding them, because not every member of the House of Reps will say that he's an elite, or that he's a lawyer, or that he's a graduate. You understand? So, but the person you elect to represent the National Assembly, you know his capacity.
Okay, well, one of the recommendations, briefly before we close up, one of the recommendations was that we should have a bicameral legislature, but they should work on part-time. Do you feel that's going to do us any good?
It's very interesting. That's one of the integration I'm talking about. I don't feel bad, even if I happen to be in the House and there was a motion that we should go into unicameral parliament. I represent Nigeria Pan-African Parliament for 4 years. And most of the African countries will oversight, because I I was the chairman of the Customs Trade, matters, there. And almost for 2 countries who oversight. They are on unicameral kind of parliament, where almost all the members there in their parliament are all senators. But yeah, we have bicameral, we have the lower chambers and the lower chambers. Fine. If Nigerian economy could not warrant to pay statutory rights of the members of the National Assembly, that the peanut they are receiving, they are frustrated for not getting their salaries and their allowances.
Do you call that peanuts?
Oh, it's
from what the National Assembly did.
That amount of money you're talking about, the journalists and people accuse them of National Assembly, they are not eating this money alone. This is the money they use in doing the legislative businesses. I stand to be corrected. No money is channeled to somebody to go and use the money to his own pocket. Every legislative business is doing that quarter, you have to use that amount of money and you have to account for it. That's a bit, but we're a political arena, we're a political atmosphere, we have gossips, we have a lot of political blackmail, and what have you. So every person sitting there, because he depends on people in his own constituency, they start to be telling that particular person. But the truth is, not any person. That's why, as you said, whether in my own opinion, whether there should be part-time. And I was trying to make that point. If the economy is bad, people can be able to pay them what they were supposed to.
As it is now, as the economy is now in recession, struggling, do you think that we should have a
if we have an economic recession, to the extent that we can able to pay the national what they were supposed to pay the years, that can be more for that. Because Nigerian law, as I've said it before, is a man-made law. It's not just an amendment. The existence of the National Assembly is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. So amending the National Assembly from being stable as what is now to a kind of part-time basis is something which can be amended easily. Because it's not in the divine law. So we'll look at our present economic situation and see whether is it possible. Can we cope? We cannot cope. Much should be something. It's an idea you just amend the ambit of the Constitution. And everybody will be okay.
Okay, finally, before we go, you spent 4 years in the National Assembly. That was the 7th Assembly. We have the 8th Assembly now, yes. Which is 2 years into their tenure. What is your assessment of this 8th Assembly when you compare it side by side with the 7th Assembly?
Thank you very much. You see, this is a very simple thing. During my time, the 7th Assembly was so dynamic, so united, and we are on our own.
Which is missing right now?
I know that even this assembly are trying their best.
Okay.
Because most of those in the 8th Assembly were part of the 7th Assembly. But the thing is, the kind of crisis, the kind of issues the 8th Assembly was able to experience, we don't have the kind of experience during our 7th Assembly. The only experience we had is that when we elected our Speaker of the House of Reps at that time, we refused the government, executives, you understand that?
From interference.
To make us morons. You know, I'm from the CPC then, you know. So, but with some aggrieved members of the PDP, we now defeated the government candidates. And right when Amin was come to be the Speaker of the House. So, from that, there's a lot of loggerheads. There's a lot of things between we, the legislators, and the executive. You, the journalists, you know all what I'm talking about. So, the 8th Assembly are trying their best, and I'm happy now the atmosphere is fine, and they're integrating, they're doing well, and we have on credit. If there's time, I'll tell you more than 100 the credit with the 7th Assembly will have produced integrating Nigerian legislation. But the 8th Assembly are doing well, and I wish them, they remain 2 years, they should go extra mile and do better with
they do better. Fine. All right, thank you so much, Honorable Barrister Ibrahim Bello Rigachikun, a former member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for coming on this session.